No human can survive me, Vriala announced, her voice slicing through the mess hall chatter like a vibro knife. She slapped her datapad onto Jonah Cade's table, right atop his half-eaten protein slab. Her golden eyes locked on him, slit pupils narrowing. Scales along her neck flushed deep crimson. A Cathari sign of challenge. Every cadet in the station's mess hall froze. Spoons clattered. Jonah chewed once more, swallowed, then wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. He met her gaze.
Okay.
Vriala blinked, her frilled crest flaring.
You want me?
This is the Cathari endurance bond. Strapped face to thigh in the strain chamber. 12 cycles of heat to 60 Celsius, cold to -20. Pressure drop simulating hull breach. Muscle locks to test synergy. Bail and your liaison status ends. Sign or crawl back to your soft world ship. Jonah slid the pad closer. The screen scrolled with dense Cathari script, hazard icons pulsing red. He thumbed the accept glyph without scanning it.
Done. Gasps rippled from nearby tables.
A Xeron cadet choked on his slurry. Vriala snatched the pad back, mandibles clicking in triumph. Witnessed. Station log records it.
Instructor Hark will oversee. As if summoned, Instructor Hark Venn strode in from the galley hatch.
The grizzled Cathari evaluator's uniform creaked over his armored frame. He scanned the pad, barked a confirmation code into his comm. Challenge accepted. Trial commences in 1 hour. Chamber 7. For monitoring recovery and compatibility metrics, you share quarters block delta. No exceptions. Dismissed.
Vriala smirked, leaning close enough for Jonah to smell her citrus-sharp scent.
9. My block. You'll beg for separation before dawn. Jonah stood, tray in hand. See you there, she stormed off, tail lashing. Jonah dumped his tray and headed to prep. 1 hour later, Chamber 7 hummed to life. Technicians bolted the harness rig into place, a web of carbon fiber straps and neural sync pads lining the cylindrical walls. Vriala arrived first, already stripped to her underlayer, a sleek, scale-hugging suit that left arms, legs, and midriff bare. She adjusted the thigh clamp, her life muscles coiling like springs. Jonah entered in standard-issue shorts and tank. No complaints. He stepped into position opposite her. Human protocols cap at 4 cycles. Batek muttered, double-checking seals. Safe max. Vriala waved him off. From her wrist comm, she overrode the console. Cathari standard. Full 12. My waiver clears it.
The tech paled but complied.
Alarms pinged once. Vriala grinned. Strap in, liaison. Feel the bond break you. Tex yanked the harness taut. Jonah's chest pressed to Vriala's midriff. Her thighs clamped his waist in a vice grip lock, Cathari synergy hold, designed for shared strain. His arms locked around her shoulders, palms flat to her back scales. Faces inches apart, breaths mingled, the chamber sealed, with a hiss. Cycle 1. Heat surged. Air thickened to sauna blaze. Sweat beaded on Jonah's skin, trickled down his spine. Vriala's scales slicked with her own sheen, glistening like oil. She tensed, expecting his wilt. He breathed steady. In. Out. Muscles held firm. Endure, she hissed through gritted teeth. Her crest wilted slightly in the steam. Ding. Cycle shift, cold plunged. Frost rhymed the walls. Vriala's shivers vibrated through their lock. Jonah's teeth chattered once, then he clamped jaw. He shifted weight, sharing body heat without thinking. Her eyes widened a fraction. Weakness, incoming. Ears popped. Vacuum tug clawed at lungs. Vriala locked her mandibles, core rigid. Jonah matched, exhaling slow to equalize. Cycle 4 ended. Tech's voices crackled over intercom. Human vitals nominal. Bailout offered per protocol. Jonah shook head. No, Vriala snorted. Fool. My spikes hit max now. Synergy amps to failure threshold. Cycle 5. Heat doubled laced with vibropulses through the harness. Muscles screamed in rhythm. Vriala's breath hitched against his neck, hot and ragged. Sweat pooled where skin met scales, slippery, intimate. Her thigh flexed harder, grinding into his side. Not pain. Test. Jonah gritted through it. His grip steadied her quiver. Routine. Like a long hike back home. She searched his face, inches away. Golden eyes flickered. Not triumph. Doubt. Cold cycle bit deeper. Ice crystals formed on straps. Vriala's scales hardened, protective. Jonah's warmth seeped through, thawing the contact points. She pressed closer, instinctive. Yield, intercom urged at cycle 6. Strain metrics off charts for human.
Negative, Jonah rasped.
Vriala's tail coiled around his calf, unscripted. Anchor. Her scent sharpened. Pheromones thickened the recycled air. Why? Pain threshold breached. He met her stare. Not yet. Cycle 7. Pressure crushed. Lungs burned. Vibro locked their holds. Thighs to waist, chest to chest. Every shift sparked friction. Her scales rasped his skin, electric. Breaths synced ragged harmony. Vriala's crest brushed his jaw, soft despite the rig. She whispered, mandibles grazing his ear. Cathari, break at 9. You persist. Heat again. Sweat rivers now. Body slid in the lock. Unavoidable. Jonah's hand slipped on her back. Instinct steadied it, fingers splaying over slick scales. She arched once, involuntary. Intercom, 8 complete. Now, Vriala tensed, waiting. Jonah exhaled fog. Pass. Crimson flush crept up her neck. Not challenge.
Something else. Cycle 9, max vibro.
Muscles fused in agony ecstasy burn. Vriala's thighs quivered around him. Grip faltering. He bolstered, legs planting firm. Her head dropped to his shoulder, breath scorching, impossible. Humans shatter. Cold snapped in. Shudders racked her frame. Jonah's arms tightened, sharing pulse. Proximity blurred lines. Sweat, scales, skin. Her tail tightened on his leg, possessive. Pressure peaked. Vision tumbled. Vriala gasped, mandibles parting against his collarbone. Jonah, bail. For data.
He held.
Steady. Ding.
Tex pounded the hatch. Override incoming. Human norms. Denied.
Vriala barked into her calm, voice hoarse. Heat inferno. Bodies fused, slick glide in every pulse. Her crest flared full, brushing his cheek. Eyes half-lidded, she murmured. What are you? 11. Cold abyss. She burrowed closer, scales warming against him. Tail wound higher, intimate coil. Pressure finale. Lungs screamed unison. Climax of strain. Hold unbreakable. Ding. Chamber vents whooshed cool air. Straps loosened with clanks. Vriala sagged against Jonah, not releasing full. Technicians swarmed, scanners beeping wildly. Human vitals stable. One stammered. Beyond projections. Vriala pulled back slow, golden eyes searching his. Scales flushed deepest crimson yet. No smirk. Awe edged her mandibles. You, outlasted. Jonah unpeeled, legs solid.
Team effort. Instructor Hark loomed at the hatch. Trial passed. Quarters Delta.
9. Monitor commences. Rest or continue bonding. Vriala gripped Jonah's arm, scales warm. We recalibrate assumptions. Jonah nodded, masking the deep ache. Routine day, but her touch lingered. Vriala shoved Jonah through the thermal chamber hatch. Metal clanged shut behind them. Her claws punched the console. My comfort. Human baseline fails here.
Heat surged.
Air thickened to oven blaze. Jonah stripped his tunic. Sweat beaded instant. He rolled shoulders. Steady breaths. In through nose, out slow. Vriala circled, tail lashing. Golden eyes narrowed. Scales gleamed under rising glow lamps. Run the circuit, she snapped. Or concede. He nodded. Started lap 1. Chamber floor, etched a track. Inclines, drops, bars. Steam vents hissed. Jonah's boots slapped hot deck. Pulse even. Lungs expanded full. Vriala leaned on the console. Mandibles clicked amusement. Humans wilt at 45 Celsius. My hatchlings train hotter. Lap 2. Jonah vaulted a barrier. Heat clawed skin red. He ignored.
Regulated.
1 foot, then next. Vriala paced parallel, outside the energy field. Her crest flared challenge.
Ah. He finished lap 3. Full circuit.
Grabbed a wall bar, pulled 10 reps. Dropped. No stagger. Vriala froze. Claws tapped glass. Impossible. Sensors? Next? Jonah wiped brow. Voice calm. Her tail coiled tight. Console beeped. Gravity spiked. Double standard. Jonah's knees buckled first step. Weight crushed. Muscles burned fire. Vriala smirked. Collapse now. Lesson taught.
He knelt.
Ripped tape from his kit. Wrapped palms raw from friction. Stood slow. Adjusted stride, knees high, core locked. Shorter steps. Pushed off. Deck groaned under doubled pull. Jonah lumbered lap 4. Sweat poured rivers. Vision blurred steam. Each breath hammered ribs. Vriala pounded the field. Stop. Strain fractures bone. He hit the incline. Leaned forward. Arms pumped. Finish line glowed. Crossed it. Collapsed to knees. Gulped air. Hatch popped. Vriala yanked him out. Cool corridor air slapped like ice. She dragged him upright. Scales flushed. You adapted. How? Routine, Jonah rasped.
Marathons prepped worse. Her grip lingered on his arm.
Warmth seeped through tape. They shuffled down the incline corridor, sim of her homeworld's terrain. Vriala misstepped. Heel slipped on the slope. She lurched. Jonah caught her waist, pulled steady. Her tail whipped around his thigh. Instinct hold. Bodies pressed close.
Her breath hitched against his neck. Careful, he said.
Your turf. She stiffened. Pulled free, but slower. Golden eyes flicked down. Fluke. Next trial proves. Instructor Hark blocked the path. Vitals logged. Human exceeded thermal grav threshold by 30%. Cadet Sen. Escort to medbay. No more unscheduled. Vriala snarled. He chose trials. Bonding protocol. Hark's gaze bored. Protocol requires mutual. Log rest cycle first. She towed Jonah past. Into Delta. 9 quarters. Door sealed. Dim lights hummed. Bunk pod stacked too high. Vriala shoved him to lower. Recalibrate. Jonah chugged water pack. Muscles throbbed deep. He peeled tape. Blisters wept. Vriala watched from upper bunk edge. Legs dangled. Tail swayed. Your skin. Bubbles. Claws gentle on his hand. Probed a blister. Pain threshold defies scans. He flexed fingers. Endorphins kick in. Push through. Her mandibles parted soft. Crest brushed his shoulder as she leaned. My kind bonds in extremes. Heat forges trust. You endure mine. Proximity sparked. Her scales radiated leftover chamber warmth. Jonah's pulse jumped.
He met her eyes. Yours first?
What's next? Endurance. Vriala hesitated, pulled a medgel tube. Squeezed cool relief over his palms. Low-O trial. Vacuum edge. My lungs filter void traces. Humans choke. Together? His voice dropped. She nodded. Tail tip traced his knee. Unconscious. Forced. Chamber seals tandem. Alarm buzzed. Station wide. Hark's voice crackled. All cadets. Biostandards drill.
Sen, cated rapport vector 7.
Vriala bolted up. Grabbed gear vest. Now, prove or break. Jonah followed. Corridor swarmed cadets. Scaled kin. Crests high. They stared. Whispers hissed. The soft skin outlasts. Vector 7 loomed. Vast atrium. Incline ramps spiraled to Low-O dome. Air thinned already. Vriala shouldered through. Planted Jonah at start line. Follow. No bail. Hark nodded from overlook. Trial. Summit circuit. Low oxygen variable grav. Compatibility metric. Dome sealed. O-level dropped. Jonah's chest tightened. Shallow breaths. Vriala sprinted ahead. Graceful bounds. Tail balance perfect. Her world. He matched pace. Adjusted. Deeper inhales. Slower exhale. Ramp steepened. Grab fluctuated. Light, then crush. Jonah stumbled. Recovered. Taped hands gripped rail. Vriala glanced back. Surprise flickered. Keep up. Halfway. Oxygen clawed lungs. Vision spotted. Human stubborn. One step. Cadet pack faltered beside another scaled youth wheezed, dropped. Vriala pushed harder. Crest wilted slight. She faltered on grav spike. Jonah lunged, arm around her waist. Together, she hissed. But leaned. They crested summit. Ding! Record flash. Dome vents rushed o rich air. Vriala sagged into him, tail locked possessive. Carried. Jonah steadied her. Bodies slick, breaths sink. Hark descended ramp. Netras rewritten. Human endurance baseline. Unmatched. Sen, explain misstep. Vriala straightened. Claws on Jonah's vest. He adapts. We bond deeper. Cadets murmured awe. One nudged. Soft skin outpaces prodigies. Hark grunted. Monitor vitals overnight. Calibrate assumptions. Back in Delta. 9. Lights dimmed auto. Vriala stripped vest. Scales marked faint heat blush. She climbed lower bunk. Crowded him deliberate.
Share heat.
Jonah shifted. Her body molded close, tail draped his hip. Worth mutual, no space. Pulse thrummed shared. Sleep, she murmured. Mandibles grazed his jaw. Tomorrow, my aquatics. Drown or dive. He draped arm loose, ached, faded to calm. Dive. Her chuckle vibrated. Low, intimate. Lines blurred further. Rivalry thawed. Trust coiled tight. Morning klaxon blared. Briala sprang up, pulled Jonah vertical. Aquatics chamber. Gills supplement, human sink. They raced corridors. Incline challenged her post-fatigue. Jonah steadied without ask. Her tail brushed thanks. Chamber flooded view. Vast pool, currents simulated her seas. Pressure waves churned. Briala donned rebreather mask. Tossed Jonah one. Submerge endurance swim. Currents break weak. Hatch submerged.
Water rushed cold. Jonah dove.
Stroke steady. Freestyle churned against pull. Lungs burned, sans gills, but held breath trained. Pool drills, dives. Briala surged ahead. Tail propelled torpedo. She looped back. Eyes wide through mask. Bubbles. Impossible flow. Current ramped. Jonah adjusted. Dolphin kicks. Streamlined. Outpaced her spin. Surfaced lap 5.
Gulped air.
She breached beside. Claws gripped pool edge. You swim void currents? Earth oceans rougher.
He treaded water. Arm brushed her side.
Hark's voice boomed underwater calm. Trial peak. Human metrics. Hark's voice cut through the calm. Human metrics exceed baseline. Briala. Log aquatics parity. Next trial. Paired obstacle run. Tether protocol active. Water drained from the chamber. Jonah hauled himself over the pool edge. Briala surfaced beside him, mask dangling, her frilled gills fluttering in the recycled air. She ripped off her rebreather. Claws flexed. Parity? Luck. Dry drills expose you. Hark loomed at the hatch. His armored exosuit gleamed under the lights. Tether now. Safety line simulates deep space EVA bonds. Fail transition, both disqualified. Jonah extended his wrist. The instructor snapped a reinforced cuff around it. Durasteel weave 2 meters slack. Briala thrust her primary claw forward. Click. Tether locked. She tested it with a sharp tug. Jonah stumbled forward 1 step. Her mandibles parted in a grin. Handle acquired. Drill start. Hark barked. Course alpha. Move. The hatch hissed open. Corridor blurred into the obstacle deck. Towering walls, swinging bars, slick ramps, laser grids pulsing red. Alarms blared. First hazard loomed. A cargo net climb, rain slicked from sim misters. Briala bolted. She yanked the tether hard, aiming to unbalance Jonah at the net's base. Slack snapped taut. Jonah planted his boots. Earth-hiking boots gripped the grate. He absorbed the pull, then fed line back smooth. She glanced over her scaled shoulder. Eyes narrowed. Leapt for the net. Claws hooked fibers. She swarmed up, tail lashing for momentum. Jonah followed. Steady pulls, no rush. Tether guided her wild swings into rhythm. He reached the top first. Waited. Extended a hand. She slapped it away. No aid. Dropped to the far platform. Yanked again. Mid-transition bar swing. Bars whipped past. Jonah timed his anchor. Braced on the pivot post. Redirected her momentum through the cleanest arc. She landed solid, but her tail flicked irritation. Soft pull, she snarled. Obstacles don't care. Jonah dropped beside her. Tether coiled loose between boots. Next, pressure ramp. Slick panels gleamed oil black. Briala charged. She used the tether like a whip, jerked Jonah toward the incline's edge, where vents spewed steam bursts. He sidestepped, footlocked on a dry seam. Tether went rigid. Pulled her back from the steam plume. Safest line center. She hissed. Claws scraped for purchase. Slid anyway. Panel tilted under her weight. Briala windmilled, primary claws scrabbled air. Jonah lunged, wrapped the slack around his forearm, caught her full mass mid-fall. Her body slammed into his chest. Scales slid against his damp shirt. Tail coiled his thigh for balance. Breath hot on his neck.
They froze. Her mandibles grazed his collarbone.
Pulse hammered through her scales into his skin. Caught, he said. Steady voice. Muscles burned from the hold. Briala shoved off. Frills flared crimson. Slip anomaly. Rematch. Hark's voice crackled from overhead. Transition clean. Human initiative logged. Continue. She whirled on the instructor. Extend slot. Double run. Human falters next. Hark tapped his console. Restart alpha. Vriala gripped the tether cuff. Yanked Jonah close. Face inches from his. This time I break you. Jonah met her gaze. Nodded once. Lead. They hit the net again. Faster. Vriala climbed like a storm. Claws shredding fibers. She yanked mid-climb. Testing. Jonah anchored low. Fed slack precise. Topped out together. Bar swing. She whipped the line. He redirected. Pulled her through the gap as a laser grid snapped shut behind.
Inches clear.
Ramp loomed. Vriala feinted left, then surged center. Panel slicked heavier. She slipped deliberate.
Jonah braced. Caught her waist this time.
Hands firm on her sides, scales warm, flexible under his palms. She twisted in his grip. Didn't pull away. Mandibles clicked soft. Predictable.
Teamwork. He released.
They cleared the ramp. Deck after deck blurred. Sweat beaded Jonah's brow. Human lungs pulled steady. Pool training paid off. Vriala panted now, gills straining in low humidity air. Tail dragged once. He shortened slack, steadied her stride without a word. Final hazard. 0G shoot. Walls inverted. Tether became lifeline. Vriala kicked off first. Spun wild in the tube. Yanked hard. Aimed to tangle him. Jonah exhaled slow. Dolphin kicked smooth. Grabbed her tail mid-spin. Redirected both into the exit port. They tumbled outsynced. Boots magnet locking the deck. Hark waited. Chrono beeped. Pair time. Record. Vriala, tether stress at 80% human tolerance. Jonah, 95. No fails. Vriala ripped off her cuff. Claws trembled. Stared at Jonah's wrist. Red mark faint.
95.
Your flesh yields? Normal day. Jonah flexed his hand. Rotated the joint. Keeps going. She circled him. Tail brushed his calf. Frills pulsed deeper blue. Aquatics, sleep, share. Now this.
Humans hoard secrets. Hark cleared his throat.
Debrief in 5. Hydrate. Vriala snatched 2 ration pouches from the dispenser. Tossed one. Drank hers in gulps. Eyed Jonah. Next domain. Endurance tether. Void sim. 12 hours. Sinus. 12. Jonah uncapped his pouch. Cool synth fruit hit his throat. Station record. My record. Her claw tapped his cuff scar. Lingered. You anchor. I propel. He capped the pouch. Deal. Corridor klaxon wailed. Crew passed. Whispers in alien tongues. Vriala ignored them. Stepped closer. Shoulder bumped his deliberate. Tether taut. Pole changes. Jonah felt the shift. Her warmth lingered from the catch. Rivalry's edge dulled. Trust knotted tighter. Hark's console pinged. Slots filling. Confirm void sim? Vriala snarled triumph. Confirm void sim? Human dives deeper. Tether gone, but proximity stuck. Her tail flicked his stride and synced. Jonah matched it. Lines blurred sharper. Deck shifted to prep bay. Vriala yanked a void suit from the rack. Scaled for her frame. Thrust a human cut at Jonah.
Seal tight. My C's were gentle.
Void chews. He stepped in.
Seals hissed.
Magnetic boots thumped.
She circled, checked his joints. Claw tugged a loose flap.
Fixed it rough. Fit. She muttered. Mandibles grazed his helmet seal. Breath fogged the visor brief. Hark entered. Voidseam. Microgravity endurance. Tether mandatory. Goal. Habitat repair sequence under stress pulses. Tether clicked anew. Longer line. 5 meters. Vriala tested. Pulled Jonah into a spin.
He stabilized. Grabbed her belt loop.
Centered them both. Chamber doors irised. 0G hit. Stomach floated. They drifted in. Pulses started. Gyro bursts rocked the simhab. Panels sparked.
Vriala jetted forward. Tailfine prop pulsed blue.
Yank tether wild.
Jonah reeled her arc smooth.
They hit the knot together.
Her claws pried the panel. Sparks flew. He held position. Boots maglocked. Tether taut. Pulse rocked them. She slipped. Grip. Tether snapped.
Jonah hauled her back, arm around her midsection.
Suits meshed seamless. Steady, he said. Voice calm through calm. She wrenched a Virala, shoved Jonah against the gym ring's padded post. Her mandibles clicked sharp. Biological dominance bout. Now, prove your kind matches mine in close quarters. Jonah blinked sweat from the void sim cooldown. His muscles hummed steady. The station gym buzzed with off-duty cadets, scaled Cathari mostly, tails lashing. Instructor Hark loomed at ringside, datapad glowing. Rules clear, Liaison Cade? Send species ritual, submission pins only, no strikes. Control holds escalate to dominance. Jonah nodded. He stripped his damp shirt, toed off boots. Practical gi pants stayed. Riala shed her harness. Lithe frame gleamed, iridescent scales from throat to tail tip. 4 limbs balanced low, claws retracted. Pride burned in her golden eyes. Humans wilted under Cathari vigor, she'd boasted post-sim. Time to test it. They circled center ring, her tail whipped air. Jonah kept knees bent, hands loose. She lunged first. Foreclaws hooked his shoulders, hind legs coiled for takedown. Weight slammed him down. Mat thudded. She pinned his chest, mandibles inches from his throat. Yield spectrum starts. Hark called. Verbal dominance optional. Humans break soft. Say it. Jonah exhaled even. He bridged hips up, percenter shifted. He rolled them smooth, reversed position. Now he straddled her torso, forearms pressing her upper limbs gentle. Elbows pinned, not cranked. Her tail thrashed wild, slapped his thigh. He absorbed it, held firm. Scales rasped his skin. Control point, Hark noted. Katie leads. Vriala snarled. Muscles bunched under him. She bucked hard, Cathari power surged. Jonah rode it out, reset his hips. Her hind claws scraped mat for leverage. He trapped one leg with his knee, applied light pressure. Joint locked, soft. She froze, eyes wide. Submission? He asked low.
Never. She twisted free in a blur.
Reversed again. Foreclaws dug his biceps, testing, not tearing. Her tail coiled, his calf yanked. Momentum flipped them sideways. They tangled close, breaths synced ragged, sweat slicked scales to skin. Proximity forced it. Her chest heaved against his. Jonah countered calm. Slid arm under her neck, hooked the hip turn. Gentle torque. She bridged, desperate. He flowed with it, pinned her shoulders flat. Clean hold. 10 seconds ticked. Pin, Hark barked. Bout to send unless challenged. Viriala bucked once more. Jonah eased off immediate. She shoved him back. Scrambled up. Chest heaved. Scales flushed deeper blue. No cooldown. My blood runs hot. Yours should too. Cadets murmured. Hark's brow ridge creased. Standard recovery. Refuse. Her claws flexed. Tail lashed Jonah's shin. He matched void. Test endurance true. Jonah stood slow. Lactic burn tingled his quads. Routine ache. Exchange program drilled this out last, don't crush.
Your call, he said.
Wiped forearm across brow. Hark shrugged. Proceed. Double stakes. Full dominant spectrum. They collided center again. Vriala feinted low, sprang high. Forelimbs wrapped his waist, hind legs hooked ankles. Takedown exploded. Mat shook. She mounted dominant. Tail cinched his thigh tight. Mandibles grazed collarbone.
Heat radiated off her. Feel Cathari fire.
Yield. Jonah breathed deep. Her weight pinned solid, stronger than sim drift. He planted palms flat, exploded hips up. Bridge broke her base. Momentum carried. He spun into mount. Knees trapped her flanks gentle. One arm snaked her far elbow, pinned it. Other hand cupped her hip. Stabilized. No crush. She writhed furious. Tail whipped his back. Scales slid slick against his bare torso. Claws pricked ribs. Restraint frayed. Human filth. Easy. He adjusted hold. Textbook joint lock. Shoulder fed into hip turn. Pressure built even, no snap. Her body arched taut. Golden eyes locked his. Shock flickered past pride. Seconds dragged. Her struggles slowed. Tremors rippled scales. Tap, Jonah murmured. She hissed. Locked claws dug mat. Held, then slapped twice. Sharp. Bout, Hark declared. Kade dominance. Clean pins both. Jonah released instant, rolled off. Offered hand up. Vriala ignored it. Pushed to haunches. Legs quivered. Tail dragged limp. She staggered to all fours, then rose shaky. Scales gleamed sweat-drenched. Cadets gawked silent. Impressive control, human, Hark said. Clipped datapad. Dismissed. Vriala lurched from ring. Claws scraped deck. Jonah grabbed an electrolyte pack from his gym bag, salty blue slurry, station standard. Followed her stride down the dim hall. Bulkheads hummed soft. She slammed shoulder into a side panel, leaned heavy. Breath rasped. Why, gentle?
Prove.
Jonah pressed the pack into her palm. Cool foil crinkled. Rules said control points. Gentle winds clean. Mandibles parted. She chugged half. Blue dribbled chin scales.
Tremors eased fraction. Cathari dominance scars rivals.
Bonds through break. You? Outheld. No fatigue mark. He leaned opposite wall. Crossed arms. Humans train long endurance baseline. Not special. Her laugh barked harsh, then soft. Golden eyes lifted. Closer now, unblinking. Lies. Void. Sim. You hold me. Now this. My prodigy frame quakes. Yours stands. Proximity lingered. Hall empty. Her tail tip brushed his boot accidental. Stayed. Exchange works both ways, Jonah said. You jet faster in 0G, I hold steady. Variala straightened taller. Pack crumpled empty. Claws flexed, tested grip. Steady now. Next trial, my homeworld sim. Deeper bonds, mandibles clicked near smile. Tether optional. Jonah nodded. Seal tight, she pushed off wall. Stride synced his firmer each step. Tail flicked once, grazed his stride deliberate. Lines blurred warmer. Gym echo faded behind. Deck plates thrummed toward officer quarters. Vriala halted abrupt at a junction. Claw tapped panel. Report chamber. Park waits. Doors hissed. She entered first. Jonah followed. Holodesk flickered. Performance graph spiked human green against Cathari blue. Hark glanced up. Metrics confirm. Cade exceeds baseline human norms. Sen pushed limits. Recovered anomalous fast under tandem stress. Vriala stiffened.
Anomalous? Human proximity accelerates your vitals. Synergy.
Hark's eyes narrowed. Cultural note. Cathari bonding escalates physical. Risk misread as rivalry. She flushed scales again. Not misread, tested true. Jonah stayed silent, watched her tail coil tight, nervous tell. Hark waved dismissal. Prep for Phase 3, joint op on Cathari frigate. Endurance chain 48 cycles, no rest. Doors sealed behind, hall again. Vriala turned on him. For claw jabbed chest light. You unmake assumptions. My vow. Humans frail. Now? Respect. Heat in her gaze. Closer step. Mandibles parted slight. Breath ghosted his jaw. Mutual, Jonah said. Hand brushed her arm, steady anchor. Scales warmed under palm. Tail wrapped his wrist loose. Tested. Prove more. Frigate awaits. They moved. Steps locked. Trust coiled tighter than any tether, but deck claxons blared sudden. Red lights pulsed. Alert. Hull breach drill. All hands to stations. Vriala yanked him toward bays. Real test. Follow. Suits grabbed mid-stride. Seals hissed.
Her claw locked onto Jonah's suit tether as vacuum alarms wailed. Bulkheads groaned under simulated decompression.
Vriala yanked him into the repair bay, her tail thrashing against the bulkhead. Breach at Sector 7. Seal it. Jonah twisted free, palms slapping emergency panels. Foam sealant hissed out, bridging the mock fissure. Frost rhymed the edges. Cathari drills mimicked deep, void chill. His suit's heaters kicked in, steady hum against his skin. Vriala dove past, mandibles clicking fury. Her manipulators fused plates with precision welds. Jonah matched her, hauling girder struts into place. Respected under his visor despite the cold. Her gaze flicked to him through the fogged glass. Scales paling in surprise. Cycle complete, her comm crackled. Hull secure. Claxons silenced. Decompression halted. They stripped suits in the bay's glow, breaths sinking ragged. Vriala's chest heaved, tail coiling loose. Jonah peeled his helmet, wiping brow. Routine drill. 40 seconds felt like 2. She rounded on him, foreclawed jabbing his shoulder.
Impossible. Human baselines fracture at -40.
You stabilized core temp without shunt. Trained for it. Navy sims. Her mandibles parted sharp. Augments? Dope.
Med Bay.
Now? She gripped his wrist, scales hot against his pulse, dragged him down the corridor. Jonah let her lead, arguing wasted breath. Medbay doors parted with a chime. Autoscanners whirred to life. Vriala shoved him onto the diagnostic slab, full physiological. Prove purity. The med unit hummed, tendrils snaking from overhead. A needle probe glinted, core biopsy caliber. Jonah lay back, arms loose. Go ahead. Her eyes narrowed, claws tapping console. This penetrates dermal shield. Cathari cadets convulse. Humans? Needle pierced his forearm. Fire lanced deep. Calibrated agony. Jonah exhaled slow, fingers flexing open. Held still. Pulse steady on the hollow readout. Vriala's tail froze mid-swipe.
Readings? She demanded. Unit chirped data streams.
Pain threshold. 90 to 8% suppression. No endorphin spike. Voluntary neural lock. Jonah met her stare. Breathed through it.
Counts to 10. She cross-checked archives, claws flying over pads.
Human med files scrolled. Recovery curves from Earth conflicts. Void exposures. Lies. Your metrics climb under duress. Adrenaline cascades efficiency. Stress enhances, not degrades. Jonah sat up as the needle retracted. Puncture sealed in seconds. Nanosalant standard. Humans adapt. Keep going. Get stronger. Vriala leaned in, breath feathering his collar. Proximity alarms pinged faint. Pheromone overlap. Her scales flushed violet, bonding flush from the tandem logs. Hark called synergy. I call anomaly. One truth test remains. She deactivated the bay doors with a claw swipe. Privacy field shimmered active. No audience. Private wager. Final trial. Endurance chain my protocols. No station oversight. Break or admit limits. Jonah stood. Close enough her tail brushed his calf. Heat radiated off her intimacy, coiled tighter than the drill tethers. Agreed. One condition. My safety checklist. Heart rate caps, hydrate breaks, abort signal. Her gaze locked, mandibles parting slow. Respect flickered, mutual now edged rivalry. Accepted. Frigate Simpod. Cycle 3. We link neural feeds. Full tandem. She pulled a tether from the wall unit, coiling it around their wrists. Test bond. Pulses, synced, on the hollow. His steady thrum against her accelerating rhythm. You unmake me, she murmured, claw tracing his vein. Prove final. Jonah's hand covered hers. Steady anchor. Together, bay lights dimmed to standby. They exited, steps locked, but console beeped urgent. Hark's override.
Sen Cade. Phase 3 advanced.
Frigate docking in 10 cycles. Prep neural sync. Vriala hissed triumph. No delays. Our wager holds. Corridor blurred past. Her tail grazed his hip deliberate. Trust forged in breach frost and needle fire. Intimacy escalated. Rivalry melting to something raw. Frigate loomed. They sealed into the prep pod. Neural caps hissed on.
Feeds. Linked.
Endure with me, human. Jonah grinned faint. Always do. Sim initiated. Void frigate decks warped under assault. Breaches chained. Real-time cascade. Vriala plunged first, claws sealing hatches. Jonah followed, hauling debris barricades. Chill clawed deeper, -60 now. His limbs numbed routine. Her vitals spiked on the shared feed. Pushing, she pulsed. Your baseline holds? Solid. He welded a strut one-handed, free palm pressing her backplate. Stabilized her sway. Cathari crew analogs faltered in the sim. Cadet proxies collapsing, but tandem metrics soared. Her recovery accelerated in his shadow. Scales warmed through the suit. Cheat? She taunted, mandibles grinning. Teamwork. Jonah yanked her from a sim rift, bodies slamming bulkhead. Proximity maxed, suits meshed, seamless. Feed glitched. Real alarms? No synergy overload. Vriala's tail wrapped his leg anchor tight, adapting. With you, they sealed the core breach. Sim ended. Pod seals popped. Sweat slicked both. She stripped her underlayer first, scales glistening. Offered a claw. Pulled him close. Metrics final. She breathed. Human normal. Cathari legend. Jonah's arm circled her waist. Tail coiled reciprocal. Mutual. Hark's voice boomed external. Trial passed. Board frigate. Live op. Doors parted. They moved as one. Rivalry forged trust. Endurance chain unbreakable. But Vriala's whisper lingered, neural. Wager evolves. Private deck post-mission. Heat built. Intimacy beckoned. Frigate airlock cycled. Unknown voids awaited. Together. Vriala pressed against him in the lock, mandibles brushing his ear. No excuses now. Jonah nodded, hand on her scale. Ready. Docking clamps thudded. Real mission ignited.
Her claw-intertwined fingers! Prove more!
They stepped through. Trust sealed. In the frigate's dim command bay, consoles flickered red. Crew stared, Cathari veterans paling at the human. Liaison cadre. Synced. Captain's gaze sharpened. Endurance. Chain active. Storm incoming. Voidstorm's plasma whips. Grav shears. Cathari prime trial. Jonah strapped in beside her. Feeds relinked. Her thigh pressed his. Deliberate warmth. Hold. She pulsed. Always. Shields buckled first strike. Alarms screamed. Vriala manned deflectors. Claws blurring. Jonah routed power. Human jury rigs. Overclock safe. Crew faltered. 2 cadets slumped. Vitals crashing. Vriala glanced. Your steadiness transfers. He gripped her chair arm. Breathe. Count 10.
She did. Scales steadied.
Deflectors peaked. Storm raged. Hours blurred. Cycles without cease. Jonah's vision tunneled routine. Hydrated from suit reserves, Vriala leaned into him, mandibles slack on his shoulder. Not frail, she admitted, neural, endless. Dawned mutual. Crew recovered in their wake.
Captain logged. Anomalous synergy.
Human elevates. Vriala flushed deep. Tail squeezed his ankle under console. Mission cleared.
Private decks called. She led him there. Doors sealing soft.
No wagers now. Just proof. Claws traced his shirt seams. Checklist? Jonah pulled her close. Hark's voice crackled over the intercom. Cadet Sen, Liaison Cade. Survival Sim Delta 7. Gear up. 5 minutes. Jonah released Vriala. Her claws lingered on his shirt a beat too long. She straightened, scales rippling violet under the deck lights. Challenge gleamed in her amber eyes. Another test. Perfect. They bolted from private quarters. Corridors blurred past. Boots echoed on graded floors. Jonah checked his wrist readout. 34 minutes left. Vriala outpaced him twice, tail lashing, then doubled back with a hiss. Sink or fail. Simbay doors hissed open. Instructor Hark Van loomed at the control dais, his scarred muzzle set. Cathari bulkers flanked him, eyeing Jonah like fragile cargo. Liaison. Cadet. This sim tests bonding protocols. Shared oxy-tank. Linked harnesses. Synchronized strides through hazard corridor. One misstep. Both choke.
Vriala flexed claws.
Hark's gaze pinned Jonah. Human standard differs. Sim doesn't ask who's stronger. It asks who keeps going without panicking. He slapped the activation panel. Enter. Clocks start now. They stepped into the lock. Harnesses clicked home. Rigid links between waists, forcing matched steps. Vriala gripped the oxy hose, her claw brushing Jonah's knuckles. Shared tank hissed online. Cool air cycled, laced with her species' sharp ozone scent. Pressure seals thudded shut. Corridor ignited. Red strobes pulsed. Floor vents spewed cryogenic fog, flash freezing puddles into razor ice. Ceiling vents loosed acid mist, neutralized only by sink fields. Walls contracted in waves, grinders whirring. Move! Vriala yanked forward. Jonah matched her stride. Left, right, harness tugged taut. Air tasted metallic, her breath quickening it. She burned pace from the start. Long legs ate distance. Tail whipped for balance. Faster, human. My conditioning crushes this.
Ice cracked underfoot.
Jonah's boots slipped once. Human tread, optimized for grit. He planted firm, steady. Tank reads 80%.
Vriala snarled. Endurance is myth.
She surged into sprint. Harness wrenched Jonah forward. Strides desynced half a meter. Alarm blared. Oxy valve throttled. Shared penalty. Air thinned to wheeze. Fog thickened. Acid droplets sizzled on suits. Vriala powered through, claws scraping walls for grip. Jonah stumbled, lungs burning. Tank at 60. Reset. He slapped his harness release emergency protocol. Link popped free. Sim klaxons wailed. Resync or forfeit. She spun, mandibles flaring. Weakness. But fog clawed her scales. She gasped, doubling over. Jonah lunged, reclicked the harness low on her hips. Better leverage. Ration it. Breathe half. Follow my tempo.
Tank readout plunged to 40.
Walls ground closer. Grinders nicked his shoulder pad. Jonah dragged the pace down. Slow march. Left. Inhale 4 counts. Right. Exhale 6. Human marathon rhythm. Routine from colony hikes. Vriala's claws dug into his arm, sinking unwilling. Her thigh pressed his with each step. Heat bleeding through suits. Impossible, she rasped. My people trained cycles for this. Trained different. Jonah ignored the burn. Ice slicked thicker. Acid mist beaded on her visor, blurring her view. He wiped it with his sleeve. Shared motion. Tank at 20. Walls crushed to 2 meters wide. Grinders hummed inches away. Vriala faltered. Stride hitched. Lungs seizing. Scales paled to ash gray. She'd pushed anyway. Competitive fire dimming. Jonah shouldered under her arm. Harness took the weight. He hauled rhythm steady, 1 foot. Drag. Air clawed in, 10% reserve. Exit seal glowed 50 meters ahead. Timer flashing red. 30 seconds to lockout. Crew watched from observation deck. Cathari murmurs rose.
Human drags her. She leads.
Hark silenced them.
Metrics live. Vriala wheezed.
Why not drop me? Teen. Jonah gritted teeth. Legs pumped on autopilot. Stubborn human default. Ice shattered under combined mass. Acid ate at harness lengths. 20 meters. Her weight sagged full. Mandibles trembled against his neck plate. 10 meters. Tank beeped empty. Lungs screamed vacuum. Jonah scooped her legs. Harness be damned. Fireman's carry. Claws scrabbled his back. He charged blind. Seal irised. Lockout warning shrieked. He dove through. Vriala tumbling atop him. Doors slammed shut. Sea ended. Safe air flooded. Vriala collapsed across his chest. Jonah gasped. Vision spotting. Med scanners whirred overhead. Hark's voice boomed. Clear.
92%. Anomalous human pacing.
She stirred. Claws snagged Jonah's collar.
Yanked him inches from her muzzle. Amber eyes locked. Raw. Unguarded. Mandibles brushed his jaw. Misjudged you. Her tail coiled his calf. Possessive. Not fragile. Endless. Like void itself. Heat flushed her scales crimson. Jonah steadied her shoulders. Just normal. We sink better slow. Hark entered the chamber. Deharnessed them briskly.
Data log synergy spike. Cadet Sen, your sprint depleted shared reserves 30% over optimal.
Liaison Cade enforced rationing. Human baseline outlasted Cathari peak. Vriala rose unsteadily. Leaned into Jonah. Deliberate. Crew stared. Whispers spread. Human anomaly confirmed. Instructor nodded. Next trial. 0G endurance chain. Prep in 10. He strode out, leaving them amid blinking consoles. Vriala didn't release his collar. Pulled closer. No wagers now. Her claw traced his jawline. Ozone breath warmed his lips. Real proof. Jonah gripped her waist. Scales smooth under fingers. Lead on. But alarms flickered station-wide. Captain's voice cut in. All hands. Frigate undocks in 5. Storm patrol active. Synced pairs report. Vriala grinned, fangs glinting.
Our chain holds. She tugged him toward the bay.
Harness scars still itched. Trust forged hotter than sim fire. They strapped into the frigate dropship. Vriala beside him. Thigh to thigh, deliberate. Feeds relinked neural. Ready. Her pulse thrummed. Jonah nodded. Always.
Klaus release.
Plasma storm brewed ahead, whipping tendrils, grav spikes. Cathari vets paled in their stations. Vriala manned deflectors, claws flying. Jonah routed Auk power, human overclocks humming safe. Shields flared first hit. Crew slumped in G-forces. Vitals dipped. Vriala glanced. Your calm anchors. 10 counts. Scales steadied, deflectors peaked. Storm blurred hours. Jonah hydrated from reserves. Colony habit. Vriala slumped against him, mandibles slack on shoulder. Endless, she pulsed.
Crew rallied in their wake. Captain logged.
Human elevates baseline. Chain intact. Private decks beckoned post-mission. Vriala led. Door sealed. Claws peeled his shirt. No checklists. Proof. Ignited. Her tail locked ankles. Scales met skin. Rivalry burned to alliance. Human steady Cathari fire. Synergy logged eternal. But console pinged. Hark again. Advanced, dual hazards. Now, Vriala laughed low. Together, they geared. Shared oxy hissed. Corridor awaited. Ice, acid, grinders upgraded. Vriala tested stride. Matched his tempo first try. Hazard ignited. They moved as one. Grinders shrieked as Jonah dodged left. Vriala yanked him right. Acid droplets sizzled past their shoulders. Ice crunched under boots. She matched his stride perfectly, tail brushing his calf for balance. Deflector field, she pulsed through the neural link. Her claws activated the portable shield. Mist parted. They surged forward. Heat vents blasted from the walls. Jonah rolled low, scooped a frozen shard and jammed it into the nearest grinder. Gears seized with a metallic scream. Vriala laughed, mandibles clicking approval. Resourceful. They hit the final chamber. Dual hazards converged, freezing fog and spinning blades. Vriala leaped first, scales glistening. Jonah followed. Breath steady from colony drills. G-forces tugged. He grabbed her waist midair, swung them both clear. Blades clanged empty. Alarms blared victory. Doors hissed open. Ketheri Tech stared from the observation deck.
Vitals scrolled on hollows. Jonah's heart rate flatlined at 120 BPM.
Vriala spiked to 180, then stabilized against his baseline. Instructor Hark then crossed his arms. His crest ridges flattened. Rare approval. Chain unbroken. Again? Vriala unclasped her harness. Sweat beaded her frill. She shot Jonah a fierce grin. You hydrate mid-run.
How? Human trick.
Jonah offered his reserve pouch. She drank deep, eyes widening at the electrolyte tang. Hark waved them to his console. Debrief.
Sen, classify the liaison.
Vriala straightened. Neural feed synced to the log. Jonah Cade, high compatibility, high risk tolerance. Her claw tapped the entry. Endurance exceeds Cathari norms.
Synergy elevates performance 27%.
One cadet hissed. Impossible. He's baseline soft skin. Jonah felt the stares. He kept his face neutral, hands loose. Routine, not show. Hark's eyes narrowed on Jonah. Liaison? Reassignment request? No. Jonah met the instructor's gaze. Request Vriala Sen as permanent training partner.
Silence hit.
Vriala's frill flared electric blue. Tex leaned in. Hark checked protocols. Unorthodox. Cultural bonds require mutual log. Confirm? Vriala stepped forward. Claws flexed. Confirmed? Her pulse thrummed approval through the link. Bold, human. Hark nodded. Logged, dismissed. Accept private right clearance. Vriala seized Jonah's arm. Corridors blurred as she towed him to officer decks. My quarters. Doors sealed behind them. Dim lights mimicked Cathari twilight. Deep violet, humid air thick with spice. Vriala stripped her harness. Scales gleamed under frill lights. Cultural bonding right. Extreme variant. Human safe pace. She set the chamber. Graph plates at 1.82x standard. Heat lamps pulsing. Neural sync mandatory. Follow my lead. Fail, and rivalry ends. Lead on, she activated. Gravity crushed. Vriala dropped to ritual stance. Claws splayed, tail coiled. Chance hummed low, vibrating his bones. Proximity rule locked them thigh to thigh, feeds merging senses. Her heat flooded him. His calm grounded her spikes. Pulse 1. Endurance hold. Minute stretched. Vriala's mandibles trembled. Jonah breathed steady, fingers tracing her frill to stabilize. She leaned in, scales parting. Pulse 2. Sync merge. Bodies aligned.
Her tail wrapped his leg. Intimacy escalated. Claws raking light. Lips brushing his neck.
Jonah matched rhythm, human stamina unyielding. She gasped. Deeper. Hours blurred. Vriala peaked first, shuddering against him. Exhaustion hit her like a grav spike. Scales dulled. Vitals dipped. Jonah disengaged the chamber. No protocol covered this. He pulled a standard human kit. Thermal blanket, nutrient gel, slow breath cycle. Wrapped her tight. Fed gel by hand. 10 counts in. Hold 5. Out slow. Recovery surged. Frill brightened in seconds. Your aftercare stabilizes. Kithari rights end in medbays. Human normal. He stroked her crest.
We bounce back. Vriala rose fluidly. We bounce back.
Pulled him flush. Kiss deepened. Fierce, no rivalry left.
Tail-locked ankles. Scales met skin.
Proof reignited. Console pinged. Duty shift. Corridor bustled with cadets. Vriala laced claws through Jonah's fingers. Squeezed.
Stairs burned.
A rival cadet sneered.
Sen consorts with the soft skin? Standards breach. Vriala halted, turned, frill, blazing.
She thrust their joined hands at the hololog terminal. Claw slammed the public sync.
Pair bond logged. High compatibility certified. Halos flashed. Pairing approved. Station-wide ping. Cadets gaped. Whispers exploded. Human-paired Sen? The prodigy? Jonah's pulse jumped. Her grip tightened. Mine now, Hark's voice boomed over comms. All stations Cade Sen chain unbreakable. Advanced trials resume. Dual command. Vriala laughed, towing Jonah onward. Accident? Or fate? Her eyes dared the void. Together, they strode. Human steady, Kethari fire fused. Next hazard awaited.